became NNN, that is Movement for New Nigeria. And finally, when our alliance protocols were in place, became NINAS, Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance, on December 11, 2018 at Freedom Park, Lagos. We came into contact with Professor Akintoye just before the Freedom Park proclamation, and we felt he would be a worthy leader for us, as he had been a history professor in America for 25 years. Even though he had served as a senator before traveling abroad, we believed he had been purged of all Nigerian political yearnings. He took us to Ayo Adebanjo, who also approved of our blueprints to liberate the trapped nations of one Nigeria. However, at that time, we didn't know that in their SND forum, that is the South and Middle Belt forum, they had already endorsed Alhaji Atiku for president, believing that he would at least restructure the country. It was Professor Akintoye who saw through Atiku that it will be business as usual, with just cosmetic changes that will not really affect the lives of the average Nigerian. He then got in touch with us again in 2019, and we started working on the NINAS Constitutional Force Majeure blueprint together. Even though by that time we had done the 2018 Freedom Park proclamation, the memo to the president, and taking our case to the international community, particularly USA and UN. To his credit, he provided great leadership, for which we will be forever grateful. But unknown to us, somewhere along the line, he went back to his first love, politics, and politics played the one Nigerian way. This started to manifest as a desire to be the father of all Yoruba self-determination groups, which included those hedging their bets, those out to line their pockets, outright politicians out to use Ìlànà as a political structure, and most dangerous of all, political jobbers out to destroy Ìlànà at the behest of the Fulani cabal. It was a long and arduous process to gain international recognition. One of the undertakings is not to get involved in Nigerian politics. International partners started asking questions. We spoke to Professor Akintoye to no avail, that all these people were just out to leverage on his goodwill and his desire to see all Yorubas united. We were forced to start the onerous process of disowning all these groups one by one. Global Directorate, Strategic Alliance, G8, Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, Voice of Reason, etc. All of them seek to, at best, subsume Ìlànà or working for one Nigeria. Even IPOB, when they saw what was going on, tried to muscle in on Ìlànà, particularly during our rallies, both on the homeland and at the United Nations General Assembly. Not unexpectedly, around this time, allegations, accusations, and counter-accusations of monies being paid to Professor Akintoye, either directly or through proxies, started to surface. As loyal lieutenants, we started by defending him, but the avalanche of accusations got to a stage that we had to adopt the strategy of least said, soonest mended. We already knew that we were in dire straits, with allegations of financial malfeasance chipping at Professor Akintoye's integrity. Ìlànà structure under bombardment. We started warning Prof that we cannot allow him to endanger the struggle for a Yoruba nation. But Professor Akintoye wouldn't listen. He instead started telling us that he installed us and can remove us. Meanwhile, when we mutated from YWC to Ìlànà, the 7 EXCO members who moved with him, including myself, extracted an agreement from him that the 7 would continue to operate as his cabinet till Ìlànà was firmly rooted. Prof broke the agreement and started to bring in people with no knowledge of or commitment to the struggle. In the midst of all these problems, the subtle queries from our international partners and our UN affiliates continued. The queries were along the lines of, are you sure your leader is not working with the Nigerian politicians? They reminded us that Ìlànà must be apolitical and a chivalrous. All these we reported to Professor Akintoye. So we were already on the brink of the precipice when this straw that broke the camel's back manifested. On the morning of Friday, the 6th of August, 2021, I got a call from Dr. Achebe, the South Africa coordinator, that Professor Akintoye was about to remove Shola Salako, our diaspora coordinator. I asked why. He claimed he did not know, but that all he knows is that if Prof tries it, he won't be able to contain the backlash, as 80% of the diaspora will stand with Shola Salako. He asked me to do something about it, and I agreed. He said I will call Prof. Before I could call Prof, the call came in from Bolaniwa Njenje, the German coordinator. He more or less said the same thing as Dr. Achebe. On asking his advice on the way forward, Bolaniwa Njenje suggested that we split Shola Salako's portfolio into two, giving Dr. Achebe the job of coordinating the diaspora, while Shola Salako retains the diplomatic side of the role. I told him to let me think it through and call him back. I thought it through and realized that whatever was at the root of this problem, these two coordinators and maybe a few others had met and decided on a solution that suited them. Now, my main concern was not to derail our struggle for freedom. Meanwhile, Shola Salako's main value to the cause was her ability to deal on our behalf with UNPO, ONIFA, EU, UN, etc. At the same time, we cannot afford a diaspora crisis. So I bought into the idea. I called Prof to give me a few hours to wade into the issue before he makes his announcement. He agreed. I then called Shola and told her everything. She initially said she was leaving, but I made her realize that the struggle comes first. She should remember her years of hard work and commitment. She agreed to the separation of powers. I called Dr. Achebe and he agreed to become the diaspora administrator. I also called Bolaniwa Njenje and was happy with the solution. I called Prof and he also accepted the separation of powers. We had peace for a few weeks, and the problem gets head up again, culminating in the political situation applied by Professor Akintoye to the English chapter, Achebe and Shola Salako. For the sake of clarity, Shola Salako remains our diaspora lead as international secretary, and those who are for the Yoruba struggle will continue to work with her and her team. Ìlànà is a self-determination organization, nothing else. It cannot be turned into a political group, as this will set the struggle back at least 20 years. And who knows when next the Yoruba will get another golden opportunity for freedom. Like I stated earlier, we cannot jeopardize the struggle for our freedom. We are midstream, and millions of lives are at stake. The NINAS project affects the whole of the Alliance territory. Ìlànà is a key driver of the NINAS blueprint in Yoruba land. It has also been so documented at the United Nations. NINAS has gone beyond being the project of one or two persons. It is now a movement that has developed a life of its own and will continue no matter who falls by the wayside. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot allow Professor Banji Akintoye to truncate the dreams of millions of people. So as of today, 18th November 2021, Oòduà is stepping aside from Professor Banji Akintoye, freeing him to become the father and supreme commander of the amalgamated self-determination groups. Thank you all for your time and attention. Sincerely, on behalf of Ìlànà Oòduà, 18th November 2020. 2021, sorry. Taking you back one more year. Okay. So that's it. It's very short and I hope to the point. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Why is there microphone? No, there's another one.
What is it?
We have to know once again. My fear is if you're able to manage a small group like this, what is going to happen to Yoruba nation?
I'm able to manage a small group.
And we have crisis.
Which is the small group?
What I'm saying is, Ìlànà. Okay, let me put it like this: Ìlànà.
Ìlànà itself is a group. And under Ìlànà, we have 20 self-determination. largest of self-determination groups. Some of these people that I mentioned, that I said Baba was some of them were only 6 different people, 6 family members, and they formed themselves into it. So it's not a small group. And we have a large following, and we have made a lot of inroad into this self-determination, not only in Yoruba land, even outside Yoruba land. And that's why I said that millions of lives are at stake. We cannot afford.
Is there no way you can find a way around this and resolve this?
What do you mean by finding a way around this?
That is, instead of allowing this to Professor Akintoye to go, maybe you want to way around this.
We have different ideology. That's what I say now. It's a good weakness. Baba has one weakness. He wants Yorubas united, but it's not possible. Yorubas are too enlightened, too educated for all of them to go in one direction. Even when Awolowo, who did a lot of wonders for us in Western Nigeria, was there, we did not all, they didn't all face the same direction. If they had faced the same direction, UPN would have been the only, AG would have been the only party in existence. So it's not possible. But at least when you are leading a group that says they are fighting for liberation, you don't go about obnobbing with people who are obviously fighting for one Nigeria, to keep Nigeria one. Because one Nigeria, let me explain to you, it's not the same Nigeria that our fathers went to negotiate in Lancaster House. In Lancaster House, they negotiated for Nigeria, a federal country, where each one had its own constitution, its own ambassadors abroad. They had their own regional laws and all that. So what you can go to prison for in Yoruba land, you may not go to prison for it in the east or in the middle belt. So everybody was more or less independent, but contributing to the center. Gradually after the war, without we being able to notice it, things got to a stage where little by little the military commandeered everything and turned us into a military state. Now we don't have anything. In fact, that constitution does not even owe us anything. As we are now, if Buhari decides to kill 1,000 people today, he owes us no explanation. It's in the constitution. He has immunity. Your governor has immunity. Your president has it. You cannot do anything, and they will not resign. No matter how much you scream, you shout, they won't do anything. So that's why it's a bit difficult. It's not the same Nigeria. So anybody that is still rooting for one Nigeria, still rooting to keep Nigeria, cannot be on the same page with a group that wants total freedom from Nigeria, where we want to control our own affairs, have access to our wealth, and manage it ourselves. These people are spending our money. They are spending money from the ports. They are spending what do you call it, VAT money. They are spending oil and gas money. They spent coal money when it was there. When they didn't want it anymore, they ruined it for them. So that is the problem. We are not on the same page at all. So we cannot work together. And we've explained to Baba several times. Now, these people, he thinks maybe if he pulls them close, maybe they will change. It's like they cannot change. They are in this for what they can make out of it. And definitely, there's nothing they can make out of one. People who are making money from one Nigeria cannot make money from the Yoruba nation. Because as soon as Yoruba nation is formed, a lot of things are going to change. A lot of things are immediately. They themselves know that but once there's Yoruba nation, there are certain things they cannot do. Once there's Igbo nation, there's certain things they cannot do in Igbo and they are getting away with it. There are certain things they cannot do amongst the team and getting away with it. So that's why they want it. That's why it's difficult to for us to have a consideration. Like I said, we didn't answer for quite some time. We have been answering now for quite some time, trying to get Baba to see. You can see the number of groups we mentioned that we had to start disowning them to get them out of the way. They were leveraging on Baba, trying to get into his heart, trying to make him accept them, and in accepting them, if Baba accept them, we will accept them too. But it's not possible. We are not on the same page.
Another question? Yeah, okay. You do that. Tell us where you're from. And your name and your.
We didn't tell us which
Good afternoon. My name is Bola Badmus. I write for Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Please, from the last paragraph, I want to let me read it out. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot allow Professor Banji Akintoye to truncate dreams of millions of people. So, as of today, 18th November 2021, Ìlànà Oòduà is stepping aside from Professor Banji Akintoye, freeing him to become the father and supreme commander of the amalgamated self-determination groups. So, I want to believe that what you are trying to say there, that Professor Banji Akintoye has been sacked from being the leader of Ìlànà Oòduà.
Relieved. He's been relieved.
Or being relieved of this.
No, not even that he has been relieved. It's like I told you, we are stepping aside from him. He's still there. Look, all Yorubas, once you are a Yoruba person, you are free to fight for Yoruba freedom, for Yoruba nation, in whatever way you understand. But the way Baba wants to fight is not the way, because the people he has collected around him are pulling him back. He doesn't realize it. Till they all fall into a ditch, that's when Baba is going to realize they were a mistake. We cannot afford that time. We cannot afford that happening to us. Because like I said, too many lives are dependent on what Ìlànà is doing. You know? We are in the forefront of this self-determination struggle. We are in the forefront. We are driving Ninas. Ninas is that amalgamation of all the nations in Nigeria who want to be free. Baba is actually the chairman of Ninas. So we don't know how he plans to do it, because Ninas is leading Ìlànà is leading Ninas. He's the chairman of Ninas. He's also the Alan of used to be the Alan of Ìlànà. So how can you, under this, and the Ninas blueprint is total freedom for every ethnic nation in Nigeria and wants it. So how does that now fit into moving with Yoruba self-determination movement now that wants to make him supreme commander? That they've already started forming a government in exile. They have prime minister. They don't even know what government we have, what form of government we are going to have. Whether we are going to have the presidential, whether it's the prime minister, the parliamentary, they don't know. People are already jostling for position. They are actually bribing for governorship slots. Imagine. People are paying.
So in essence, you are telling Baba to start leading the self-determination group and leading Ìlànà.
Yes, it should lead us.
Now, who is leading Ìlànà now? Who is leading Ìlànà?
It will come.
You don't have a leader yet.
Oh, there is a vice chairman.
I'm the vice chairman, but I cannot call myself a leader. I can operate in a limited capacity for a limited time till the majority of the Ìlànà people come together to pick
whoever they want.
But the organization is intact. We are still working, and because luckily for us at this time, why we are so lucky at this time, this thing takes place, like from now till maybe 2023, what we are mostly doing is a Ninas blueprint. That is the 5 demands of Ninas. We've gone through 1, 2, 3. We are now on the 3rd one, which is pulling down the constitution and going into transition. So that is not, we don't really need any visible leader for that. But once we are following that blueprint, that's what I'm saying, that it has developed a life of its own. Everybody has seen the routes to freedom, and they are all organizing themselves, organizing their constitution, their charter of relationships, their maps, their culture, their language. Those are all the things you need to become a nation. Even if you're only 400,000, if you're not up to 1 million, you can become a nation. Once you have a common language, you have a map to delineate your territory, you have a constitution. Once you have all about 5 or 6 things, all is well. So that's what we are planning on now. We are at that stage where United, and if you can get the constitution down and go and enter transition, then we can go for referendum. That will be done by the United Nations. Not that we cannot do referendum here ourselves. We can, but it will not be enforceable. The only one that will be enforceable is the one that is done by the United Nations. That's all.
Then I received a message. I don't know whether of my other colleagues of mine also received such a message. Baba, through his spokesperson, Maxwell Adele, said those of you who wanted to address a press conference this time around in Kenya, that you have been bought over by the government. Is react.
It's what you expect him to say. He's fighting back now. People fight back when they see that there is a problem ahead for them. Do we look like people who are? Do I look like I have dollars and naira in my hand? And everybody that knows me, ask about me. I don't know. Ask about all of us, but ask me that I'm his vice. That how many people in Abuja, right? I don't even talk to them. And it's not as if I don't know them, because we are not on the same page. And we know that everything they are doing does not make me happy. So we are at cross purposes. From the vice president down. Who is like a junior brother to me. We are all at cross purposes. All of them. All the yes, we are 60s and 70s. He was calling that they are 60s and 70s. They all know that which one of them will come and tell me to take. How will they even come and talk to me to tell me to take money for what? They know now. I don't even take money for them to eat. And not to talk of now, we now take money for the whole Yoruba nation. I knew how this country was when I was growing up. I grew up in this country before I went to England. So I think I went to England at age 7 or 8. And I knew what was on ground. And when I came back, I still met a good relation. Till I left university, Nigeria was good. And I left university in 1974. So you can just imagine. But even though that time it was already going down, but it was still a livable place. We could live in it through everything. They would still talk to you. When Governor Rotimi wanted to reduce our, what do you call those things we used to eat in the university, our feeding allowance, he actually called a meeting for us. He asked them to send him students representative so that he could explain to us. Tell me which governor will explain to you now. If they don't even pay your scholarship, even your scholarship as student, they don't even bother to explain to you. That man called us to a meeting and explained why that this thing had to be done. And we were now the ones who took his message to the University of Ibadan and other universities to go and explain to them that this is what happened. That's the kind of country I grew up in. Not this one where people do what they like. You don't even see them. You don't even see them.
Okay. Any other question?
Please ask your questions now, because as you can see, that I have started to fight back. So if there's anything you want to find out between me and between us here and what he has written down, we are here to answer you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Njenje from the Guardian newspaper. Ma, from what you read from this paper now, what I understand from it is that Baba and Ìlànà Oòduà, they are no longer together because the vision does not align anymore. Then number 2, what Ìlànà Oòduà stands for is that they want to liberate from one Nigeria, while Baba is trying to bring Nigeria together. So you cannot. That is.
Can't work together.
Right. Thank you very much.
I think because you are a twin, you have double intelligence.
Thank you, ma'am. And so you also mentioned some financial aspects where some people are taking money on behalf of Baba directly or indirectly. So, and it is affecting the name of the Ìlànà Oòduà. Thank you.
As you can say, I have no proof, but there are allegations. And when allegations start to fly around like that, it becomes a problem. And it has now affecting us in the sense that when we now need help, you have heard that Ìlànà is taking money, Ìlànà and their principal is taking money. If we ask you to give us 10 million, now will you give us? You won't give us. I say they just go and spend your money. And then it ruins our integrity. But we have no proof. Because people say, but when we have asked Baba, Baba has not responded. Yes, Mr.
I want a clarification. Please, I want Ìlànà Oòduà. Is this Ìlànà Oòduà. Is it a different from Nina? Is a
Yes.
What is it?
The difference is that Ìlànà is the difference is that Ìlànà is a Yoruba group. It's a Yoruba self-determination group. Only Yorubas belong to it. Ninas is a conglomeration of Yorubas, Igbos, Midwest, Delta, Chief, Benue, Araba, all the states, all the places they call themselves Lower Niger territory now. That is including Akwa Ibom, the other. It is what is what we call Ninas, Ijo, Ogoni. We decided to work together because you see, when you have a country where the constitution is so total, it gives the government full powers over you. If you, as Yoruba, decide you are going out, they will criminalize you. They will say you are a criminal, they call you secessionist, separatist. They won't call it self-determination, which is actually a legal right that the United Nations gave to all nations. This one that has been kicked, that killed people yesterday was 50 days ago in Cameroon, Ambazonia, they were also part of this self-determination group, but they kicked them out because they got involved in violence. That's why we said we cannot do violence and we cannot do politically. And in this country, there's no way you can do politically without entering violence. You can see that all our governors, all our senators, all of them, they all have enforcement here. Thugs, they call it enforcers now, but they are actually they are no better than thugs, and that leads to violence, which we are not supposed to do. So they've been kicked out of the self-determination cover now, and Amazonia. So this is how we operate, and that is the way it should be. You understand? All of us together, we now decided that instead of one person doing it alone, let's also get together. It took us a long time to get everybody together. It took us a very long time because we had to go around, talk to them. You know, there were suspicions. People will say, Yoruba, at the last minute they will withdraw. Yoruba said the same thing about Igbos. At the last minute they are going to join Abuja and fight you. All the smaller groups amongst them, Akwa Ibom, they said Igbos have been oppressing them for a long time. You know, numerically, the Igbos are the largest in the east. So they said they've been oppressing them for quite some time. So it took time for us to be able to convince them that it is not so. That all these things were the lies of the federal government, divide and rule. They are creating one state now. They will take, this is one state now. They will take half of this state, join it to one place, take half of this state, same state, join it to another. You know, they have divided you already. Like in Kwara, there's a whole local government in Kwara, they call it Ekiti local government. It is made, it should be part of Ekiti state. But Ekiti needed, Kwara needed the land, so they took it. Those people now, if you tell them they are not Kwara, then they should go back to Ekiti and be looking for trouble. You know, just like Lagos now. Lagos has nothing. Ekpe, Agbowa, Ikorodu, they all belong to Old West. You know, they are Ijebus. Even Badagry is Ogun State. But they took all of it from there and made them into Lagos. Now they feel proud that they are Lagos, whereas they were all part of Southwest before. So that's what they did. And that's why we had to all come together under name, as we gave ourselves that name. That in 2018, you can imagine something that started in the year 2000. It took us 18 years to get to the point where we all agreed to work together. So that, because now, who will they fight? Is it the whole bulk of the middle belt, the east and the southwest? They will start firing, and they can't. We've made that point. The United Nations knows we are in this problem, and they are fighting it. Does that answer your question?
Any other question? Yeah. Okay, you have any question? You're okay.
Where are you from? Tribune. Okay, there are two of you from Tribune. Okay. Eh?
Camera.
You're a cameraman.
But you didn't camera anything. Yes.
Yes, indeed. That's why you can't really camera that time. So nobody else has any questions? Because Baba has answered before we even did the press conference. So if you really have anything, don't feel I'm ready to answer any question. Because we didn't tell any lies against him.
If I might read a question from comments. going on the screen here. There's a lot of allegation that one, they don't know you, and secondly, you are working for the government.
I don't know, it's why I accept that they may not know me.
Is it in lower thing now?
I accept that they may not know me. Not everybody knows me. Who asked the question?
Oh, I don't know. It's from the crowd.
It's possible they may not know me. Not everybody can know me. But I am not working for the government. As I've said, I'm not friends with the government at all.
Let him go. Let him go. Or go to the toilet.
You have people.
Enter toilet now.
I don't know why people assume government pays you all the time. Maybe it's what they are doing. Maybe government has paid them. So they assume government is paying us too. Government has not paid me. And as I said, from Achebe and Njenje down, there's none of them that I'm friends with. So, no, none of them.
They're asking if Baba is still in Ninas.
Well, yes, he's still in Ninas. Until he decides he's not following our blueprint anymore.
Okay. All right. Basically, most of the questions here are majorly emotions.
Emotions.
Yeah.
And give us an example.
There's a lot here. Okay, some have accused this as a betrayal. Some have said it's a government-sponsored movement, and a lot have said this is a fake, that is not validated, that this is not a valid set of people. And then some here says that Baba Akintoye brought you guys into the struggle, and now you want to edge him out. I would really like you to address that now.
He brought us into the struggle.
Yes.
That's not true.
Yeah, repeat what you said.
I told you that we've been at this thing since year 2000. I met Prof year 2018. I didn't even know the man existed from Adam. You know, it was one of my older colleagues from Shagamu, Olorogun, at Prof Banji, who took me there. There was a meeting in his house. He just said that, Otumba, let's go. They said there's a meeting in this person's house. Let's see what I'm going there to say. I said, Baba, you started again. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. He said, let us go. And he went. And something just told me from my gut that this man can help us. So I called him. I said I wanted to see him. And then he said that I should come. You know, he has a nice attitude, especially when you are Yoruba. He wants all Yorubas together under his roof if it is possible. So I went to see him. And I now told him that we have a project. This project we want to do. This blueprint we are trying to do, and we need a leader, somebody to be the face of the struggle, and that I have a colleague that we've been at it together, and that his name is Tony Njenje. Yes, he knows. He said about Tony Njenje. I said to him, I will bring him. We will come together. That was how we went to see Baba and introduced him. And I can tell you, the first time, he was the one who told us that we should forget about them, that they will not be able to help us as of that time because they had already endorsed Atiku. To now go back and tell Atiku that he cannot do election, how do they tell him? So I said, thank you, sir. And we went away and we continued our work. He called me back himself in 2019. By that time, he had seen through Atiku. He knew Atiku could not deliver. That even the restructuring he promised is not going to come. That he cannot do anything. A Fulani will always be a Fulani. It is the agenda that will always come first. So he called me back himself. I said, share a mama. He calls me mama. Mama, share a binu. I only want me to bed. I will come. So to worry with the Lord, and as I said, we started again. So how can somebody that I started working with in 2019, 2018 be the one that got me to the struggle?
The existing 2000.
Okay, thanks for that answer, man. There's another one here that I think needs clarity. How has this happening now? How will it help the agitation? How will it help the movement, the Yoruba nation?
It will help the Yoruba nation because all the questions, all the doubts people have had about the integrity of the members will be doused. You know, most of them feel that we are collecting money. Some people are making money, but you'll be surprised that most of them are not Ìlànà. They may do it in the name of Ìlànà, but when they tell me, oh, so lawyer did this, or so this one did that, I check, they are not Ìlànà members, but they are Yorubas. You understand? They are Yorubas. Everybody is trying to line their pockets if they can. And Baba is encouraging them. And there was a time he told everybody to be paying into the account opened by Global Directorate. So we all kicked against it. That's why. So those are the things that will now stop with what we have done now. It's like we are restructuring Ìlànà, refocusing it. That is a self-determination group, nothing more. If you want to help, you are welcome. If you don't want to help, it will not stop the birth of the Yoruba nation. You know how many of us gave Awolowo money when they were fighting in Lancaster House? But the day he announced the birth of Nigeria, who went out to say, I'm not part of Nigeria, or I don't want Nigeria? Everybody celebrated. And by God's grace, that's how everybody is going to celebrate the birth of Yoruba nation and other nations in Nigeria. No matter, we will wait for the person that says he's not part of it. We will ask him to go and do video. And change.
Of course now.
Okay, so I guess in the absence of any more questions, that's it. You have one, okay.
Okay.
My name is Shegun from Alari.
Okay.
Sorry, take that again.
Good afternoon. My name is Shegun from Alari. Though I've been around for almost 30 minutes ago. Been waiting out, trying to get in touch. Ní kékeré ní kúkúrú ṣe ní bá wa ṣàlàyé gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ sọ ní Yorùbá. Kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ bá wa summarize kékeré.
I've already apologized before you came here.
Okay.
That's why you need to listen to my on his own platform. Even if just 2 minutes.
Because you're
Okay.
you people just even the message your principal sent to it on the back. I had to read it about 4 times. You kept me. I should.
A quick summary. Yoruba.
Okay.
Yoruba.
So he's going to give us all.
Yes, sir.
Let him do it for me. Come on. Let
me go through. Then I'll
okay. Just give him 5 minutes to read. You know it's better because I don't want to make a fashion mistake.
Okay.
Take him as a Yoruba. Some pass on to mix it one English. Ṣé o kí n gbà tí wà yẹn owó gidi la fi lọ school lọ́kọ̀ English? Ìwọ tó gbà nílé ìgbà yẹn wọ́n máa lò ẹ́ ní pé o ṣe ń sọ Yorùbá. I told you, say it in English. So tí wọ́n mọ̀ wá lára. We'll do a good job because I don't even know where to start from. And then sometimes Yoruba language is so cool.
Someone says, is it wrong if Baba Akintoye trying to lobby other leaders who are for restructuring?
To do what? To come in for liberation. You can't lobby them. Who are you? Which leaders are you going to restructure? Are you going to lobby? Take the point. Take the the last one. I even forgot to put his name here. Who is from the nation here? Yeah. You are. Tinubu. You know his swagger is all about him. When he came back, you know, we felt he would rest, and if he's going to go for politics, he will come to the Yorubas. You know, owó ló gbé dúró bó ṣe wà bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n ti pátán ní Katsina.
Katsina bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Ọlọ́run ló mọ nǹkan tó ń fẹ́ sí lára. Ìlú bíi mẹ́rin ló lọ. I'm saying it openly. If it's not true, let him deny it. Because we were monitoring him. Pé bàbá yìí ṣé kìí ṣe kán ti fẹ́ gáàsì sí lára báyìí. Tábà tí ẹ máa pa Tinubu kọjá ká pa fúnra ra wa náà. Èwo ni tiwọn láti bá wa pa. Because he's a Yoruba man at the end of the day. And like Baba himself said, Baba Akintoye, ó ní tó bá dọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lè bi Tinubu pé kí ni tiẹ̀ ṣe jẹ́. Because for 8 years he fought Ọbásanjọ́ to a standstill lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Lagos State. So ẹni tó ti ṣe yẹn, you can never worry pé ńgbà tó face Yorùbá, he was a more successful politician than ńgbà tó move lọ sí Abuja tó lóun fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣe náà. He did better in Lagos. And me personally, you work for him. Tell him that the lady who spoke to him when Kabiyesi turned 50 years on the throne in Kabiyesi's palace in Njenje, because I live in Njenje, most of them, sir, it's only about 1 month, according to his official age. He's 1 week. pàápàá he's March 29 I'm April 5 wọ́n ní ẹni sà ibi tẹ́ ń bá lọ ẹ̀ kò sọ náà bẹ́ẹ̀ wípé we are your first line of contact àwa Yorùbá anything you want start with us convince us we will stand with you ọ̀tẹ̀ ẹ̀ ní kọ́kọ́ máa lọ náà kó wá jẹ́ rálẹ̀ máa gbé wá bá wa ní èdè the same thing nígbà tí màmá wọn kú a lọ kí wọ́n lé opportunity pé the house was left open anybody could come in at that time then I was in Atayese a lọ kí wọn ìgbà yẹn ló ṣe ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ APC yẹn mo ní sir this mega party tẹ fẹ́ ṣe it means a northern president ṣé tó fẹ́ gbé Fúlàní lé wa lórí èké ó ní ká má sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ bóun ṣe máa ṣe nìyẹn it will work mo ní kí ló ṣe fẹ́ work èyí tẹ́ ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀ MKO ó wà ní ó máa work pé bóun ṣe tí MKO ní àti ti Kíngibé mo ní number one where is the ṣọ́jà Abiola débẹ̀ ìyẹn number two mo ní Abiola and Kíngibé they were Muslim ticket nobody is going to accept a Muslim ticket from anybody in Nigeria distrust ti wọ àárín wa trust ara wa mọ́ ìṣòkòjò kó má ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn olówó àbá nǹkan kan ṣe sí at the end of the day kò ṣe òun náà ló gbé Buhari káàkiri gbogbo àwọn Ìgbò nǹkan kan gbogbo ló ń bú wa ní sèpá wa Yorùbá la gbé Buhari wọlé bẹ́ẹ̀ káwọn ọkọ àwa Yorùbá ni àwa náà ń blame tí wọ́n ní whatever tójú wa bá rí ń bẹ̀ káfárá mọ́ kò lè wọlé tanti cherry no cherry by the formation of how they vote in Nigeria if Njenje win Southwest what president could the presidency you can't win by just votes from the north and the east east to the vote Buhari láyé ọtí fèpè lera wọn lórí ń bẹ ṣẹlẹ̀ ní nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní the island it doesn't matter she knows the truth now they all know the truth wọ́n fẹ́ pé no they said they swear wípé never again wípé ẹni tó bá vote in north and is looking for that's why they don't like Soludo kì í ṣe kọ́ lọ́ọ̀ Soludo but he's Abga they would rather Soludo wọlé wọ́n ṣe like ju kí ló orúkọ Kuba and then àwọn government talks they want to put thugs in government houses so you know everybody ti make up mind wọn ibi kan ti lè rí vote wọn náà níbi kan ti rí ẹ̀rọ ọ̀dẹ̀dẹ̀ wo náà tán vote nǹkan wọn fi ṣe president so if we had stopped if Tinubu had behaved as she advising we would have been good nísìnyí náà ká ló fẹ́ di president Nigeria ẹ̀rú bá ṣe nílùú dàrú tó yìí if he starts from Yorùbá land ó máa change the mind àwọn èèyàn kan
of course
but he won't he's so full of kí ni wọ́n Nigeria ti wà lẹ́yìn wọn pé nothing àwọn ti máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ you know that's their problem so that is the thing if we are not I'm not saying that anything is wrong but Sherry you have to stand with your people but number one Fulanis will not trust you whatever betray you they will not trust you they will believe you will betray them too one day so you gain nothing at the end of the day standing with enough against your own people so that's that I don't think wetin babi nǹkan kan ní question yẹn ní question tẹ bẹ̀rẹ̀.
That's a down question from the beginning. Okay, so.
Yes.
Okay, you can give us. What was the question?
Question Yakwambi Bayo.
You are doing it for me. I will thank you later.
Yes, ma'am. Looking at the last paragraph. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot allow Professor Akintoye Banji to truncate the dreams of millions of people. So as today, 18 November 2021, Ìlànà is stepping aside from Professor Banji Akintoye. Ma, pẹ̀lú gbogbo nǹkan tó wà níbí báyìí, ti ta ni olórí tuntun fún ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Ìlànà?
Well, the group will decide that, but at least there's a vice chairman.
Okay.
She's the vice chairman. Meanwhile, she run that place. That's
Then, ma, ìbéèrè mi kejì. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìlànà tuntun tí ẹgbẹ́ ń ṣègbè kalẹ̀. Ìjẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ ń wo ẹnìkan gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹni tí a fẹ́ gbárùkù tì fún election tó bọ̀.
If you come back here again.
no.
Okay, this is what I'm asking about.
ẹ jẹ́ kí n play.
It's not political. It's not
They are not interested.
Okay,
They
no,
don't
no,
want
no,
that.
Constitution.
Okay, decision.
Bringing down the constitution.
Okay.
And we are going into transition. So what is South Africa for like 3 years? That's the kind of thing we are going to have. We are going to bring down the constitution, but all political actors will stay in place because anarchy now to our day free of charge.
Bí àwọn ẹgbẹ́ Afẹ́nifẹ́re ṣe ń jà fún píkà tuntun ní ẹgbẹ́ Ìlànà Oòduà sọ pé
But if we are very not this way, for she to more say. You are not following news.
No, sir, we are together.
So
and they are still saying
Baba has released many messages.
No, we are together last week. They are still saying restructuring.
So they're going up and down. Yeah, I think I go
last week.
That means they're going up and down. Up and down. Yeah, take.
I'm sorry for the.
Thank you very much. My name is Prince Adi Johnson. One of the campaigners for Yoruba Nation. I'm a member of Yoruba Nation now, and I'm also the Lagos State coordinator for Yoruba Nation Christianization. I'm sorry for the cause. Some of the members were calling me. Now, actually, as one of the campaigners for Yoruba Nation, I will confess that I'm not happy what I'm hearing today. And the reason is that we in Yoruba Nation struggle are following looking at Ìlànà as the umbrella body for all other Yoruba Nation associations, organizations. Yes, that's it. And we'll be looking at Baba as the father of everybody. Actually, I came to know Ìlànà through Baba because I used to watch him on YouTube and some of the social media. You have been seeing me too. Every time you're having meetings, I've been seeing you. And all of us have been giving that respect everywhere. Even when you talk about the media, whether the print media or electronic media or TV, whatever, everybody talk about Baba. And when you talk about Baba, it's like Baba is synonymous with Ìlànà. That's the way we know it. And I've thought maybe Baba was even the one who started Ìlànà. I also like was in one group before Yoruba World Congress something. So I've been following all these things for long. So hearing this today, actually I'm not too happy what I'm hearing because we a lot of us that who have been on the field, I would say that we are on the field. When it comes to Yoruba nationalization, we're on the field. We move around and talk to people. And what some of them have to know is that when you people are even together like this, there's no form of unity. Yoruba don't come together, they are not in agreement. By the time you don't have Yoruba nation, somebody has that question, what will happen? I think that's what brought somebody asking that question. So I would have loved if it's possible to be a total reconciliation. Is that okay? I don't know, like you said, you've been going through all this before now. I would have loved that situation because we see Baba as a figurehead to all Yoruba nation campaigners. I don't want to call the word agitator because I had one English language recently and says it's not good to be called agitators, but rather campaigners. So I would rather say campaigners. So I don't know if that's possible because with what this press conference today, I won't lie to you, it's going to cause a lot of challenges to a lot of people. And after today's press conference, you're going to be seeing a lot of comments all over the places. I'm a social media person, I run KSN Media, and you're going to see a lot of people be commenting on the different media today because of this. So is it possible to be a constellation? Because I won't lie to you, we love Baba. We know there's principle in everything, but we love him and we appreciate him. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope we respond to that. I think this one is better. Well, we thank God for how far this vision has gone. And I want you to bear in mind that in life, nobody is indispensable. Start with that premise. Now, if you don't hold that premise, you will lose focus. And a lot of it can be wiped out. Now, mind you, the struggle we are struggling for now is how this Fulani will not kill all of us and take our land. Now, that's the second premise I want to look at. Now, there may be a lot of people want to come together and say, okay, how do we achieve this goal? Let's run, let's do it, let's that. A lot of people are coming with different vision and different ideas. And some of them even have some things they have in their mind, which you don't know. It is as you walk along, you begin to discover, that is where we are now. Unless one wants to go and die, then that reconciliation will work. So if you want us to reconcile and go and die, let's choose. Do we choose that? No. It's I have to front that. Do you want us to reconcile and go and die?
No, so that's not the.
Or leave Baba alone and be delivered to our promised land?
I want to focus.
So do we go and die or we go to the promised land?
We go to get to the promised land.
Okay, then leave Baba alone. Thank you. Very God bless you.
Do we have more questions? Okay.
Any other question?
Any more questions?
Yeah, I go with the question. He's waiting.
And some question on the platform. You have some question.
Well, I've not seen any.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
It's not like a question. What I want to say is that me too, I'm a concerned. Don't worry. I'm a very concerned person too with all these things that is going on in our nation. I mean, no.
Oh.
Okay,
that's fine. But he's covering others.
After all these things, I feel people studied what happened in 1966 because me, I'm a fan of reading. That was rolled up.
Just voice. It's just voice. People can't hear. They're saying they cannot hear your question. Okay.
So this is a off camera.
All right.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say that I've been reading what happened before 1966 and what happened 1966 and before. I've been reading a lot of mistakes and what happened and all those things. Now, with what is happening in Nigeria, we are going back like I say we are going back 50-something years back again to what we did not solve then. That is what is happening. Then it was the North that started it like this, and the Yorubas were confused. They wanted to stay neutral to maybe at a particular time. Then the Igbos rely on the Yorubas that if the Yorubas stay neutral, the Hausa will not be able to penetrate them. But when the Yorubas now give up the place, the Igbos were made to their land. Then now what I'm trying to say is that now if what is happening in Nigeria now, it is happening and it is coming down gradually, it is coming down. Now, what I want to say that all this means have you people from the what happened in 1966 and all that led us to where we are today. Have you been able to resolve all these things and map out everywhere so that what happened in 1966 will not happen again? So that one side will not, after everything, one side will not betray another side, will not open way for it. Because the struggle there, the Hausa used the Yoruba and the Hausa benefited.
Let me answer your question. See, it's very simple. What you are talking about one Nigeria. We're not talking about one Nigeria.
We are not talking about one Nigeria.
Okay, so
what I'm saying is that then what the struggle now is like what the same struggle then. Mm. You know, then they call the Yoruba to tell that if people go and we go, that they have been powerless. Now it's the same thing like this.
That's what we're doing. Yeah.
So if at the end of the day, if the die is cast, and they want some side now pull out, and now leave some side.
Okay, so let me do that now. Let me just say this: in any movement, you always have people who have moles, who have their own agenda, who also can be ruled by enemies. That is why enemy Tinubu is with the North. That's part of it. So as a result of that, you can't rule that out. It is for us to be alert. Those of us who want to be free. We may not be big numbers. Though. In many establishments, you find only 4, 5, 6 people are the ones that will give deliverance. Look at South Africa, Mandela. I mean, so if you focus, you know what you're doing. You just need a few people to work with you. Leave others alone. Continue to move on. If they cut your leg, mend it and move on. If they slap you, whatever you can do, don't lose your focus. That is where we are, and that's what we're doing. Is that answer your question? Yes.
And can I just add a 2 bit to it? You know, in 1966, a lot of us were still ignorant. We didn't know their plan. We didn't see the Fulani. We knew Hausa Fulani. We didn't know there was Hausa and we didn't know there was Fulani. Right. Now we know the difference. We even know the difference that some are headsmen, that is, they came from outside. We now know Iswa. A lot of people didn't know them, they know now. So people's reactions are not going to be like that. You know that time the chief, it's not only the Yorubas that help them, the chief help them along when they come running from parents. But it was out of ignorance. Now that ignorance is gone.
They call them.
Everybody has suffered. And I don't think there's any nation in Nigeria now, including the Hausas, who have not suffered. In fact, they were the first victims.
Of course.
They killed all the others. They took their land, changed their religion. So you cannot. I don't think that
No, no more ignorance.
Betray
No more ignorance.
I don't think anybody will. It was out of ignorance that betrayal.
Yes, go on.
Yes, sir. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìlànà tuntun tí ẹgbẹ́ ṣe kò lè fa kí ẹgbẹ́ pín sí méjì.
Ṣé ètò ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀? Never pín sí méjì. It's okay. We don't need a crowd to achieve what we want. Plan tí Nina's need to liberate this country does not need a huge crowd. All we need is for people to know what is happening. We say something pé gbogbo ara ti gbọ́n, gbogbo ara ti mọ̀ pé Fulani. The main problem we have in this country, joint problem, everybody is Fulani. And the main problem is that constitution. Everybody knows. In fact, even before the Fulanis, the constitution is the main problem, followed by àwọn tó wà lọ́wọ́ on low against one. So once everybody knows that that is the problem, there is no ẹni tó bá pín tó náà wò ṣe lànà mọ́. Self-determination náà ló ń lọ ṣe ibi tó ń lọ. So kò lè lóun ṣe nǹkan mi yóò dẹ̀ ṣe self-determination á ṣe restructuring àbí àkókò dúró lórí wọn Nàìjíríà nǹkan. So
everybody níbi tó ń lọ.
Everybody níbi tó ń lọ. Kò sí wàhálà.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìbéèrè mi èyí tó parí ni pé nípa ètò tuntun tí ẹgbẹ́ ti gbé báyìí kí lẹ mi ní ìmọ̀ràn tèmi ò gba ẹgbẹ́ pé kí ìpolongo jáde kí
ìpolongo náà lórí
kó jáde kí àwọn èèyàn lè mọ̀ pé bí nǹkan tí ẹgbẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe báyìí ni àwọn adarí wa tuntun yìí sòfò jù báyìí wà.
Ṣé kí ní ìtorí pé a fẹ́ gba position. We are movement for to save Yorùbá nation. Nǹkan tá a wà after. And we don't need a leader. Nígbà tẹ́yìn yẹn tẹ̀yìn ọmọdé tẹ̀ ṣe ń sáàtì ṣọ́ wá dídá yín títí ṣọ́ rí. Àbúrò ọ̀ṣà àwa títí wọ́n tún pè ẹsẹ̀ dídá yín wá káwọn báwọn negotiate àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ láwọn ò ní dídá.
Wọ́n dẹ̀ àṣìbù tó bẹ́ẹ̀
àṣìbù. Ẹ̀yẹ máa wò ní mo ṣe ń bèrè I always use Awolowo and co àwọn Zik as an example. When they were going to Lancaster House, mélòó náà àwọn bàbá wa lọ́mọ nǹkan tó lọ ṣe ń bẹ̀ wọ́n ò mọ̀ náà. They didn't know akọ̀rí kan lọ èlò ní òtí ẹ̀mọ́ wọ́n kúrò they came back after several years. Àkọ́kọ́ gba self-independence from self-independence àgbà national independence. Japan tẹ̀rí yẹn everybody ní Japan yẹn ọmọ mẹ́jọ àwọn eight young boys ìdá Japan yẹn lọ́ní yàtọ̀ àwọn jẹ lọ́wọ́ China yìí ti pọ̀ jù they were under China before wọ́n ní láíláí àwọn máa kúrò yẹn and they left see Japan today now.
Ẹyin tẹ́ máa dìde nìyẹn tẹ́ ká dìde lẹ́yìn kápá yìí tí ó lọ sí ní kápá tẹ́ kó dìde.
You are the youth of tomorrow.
Ẹyin leader
ẹyin làwọn ń jà fún
yìí ni.
Àwọn ń jà fún yìí ni.
You are ẹyin lọ́láwá. You will inherit this land lágbára Ọlọ́run. And after your own children too will inherit it. Wonders for one share abroad here. How about done? Anyone separate Chinese twins? Why can't they come out here and do it? What must they go and do in Ilu? All these wonders they are performing in other people's countries. Why can't they come to Nigeria and do it and give us that joy, give us that pride? Come on, they don't see them as number one citizens. They are still second or third class citizens. In England, I grew up amongst them. Let me give you one example. What I saw. But I lọ sí school a ṣe ìdánwò ni o kì í ṣe pé wọ́n mú wa o wọ́n gbé paper fún wa báyìí kà ṣe wọ́n ní a máa lọ fún a night with Princess Anne at one of these beautiful hotels náà níbẹ̀ ṣé wọ́n pé ẹ̀rọ òkè pé wọ́n máa hand pick wọ́n set exam fún wa ní wey dey pass ṣé wọ́n pé mo jẹ́ nu ọ̀nà hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì yẹn lálẹ́ jọ́ ìwọ̀n jẹ́ kí n wọlé kí ló dé wọ́n ní mi ò wọlé coloured wọn tiẹ̀ ní black wọ́n ní coloured are not allowed there ṣe lọ́ọ́ fi mí sínú black cap mo padà sílé alẹ́ ẹjọ́ yẹn ni mo mọ̀ pé princess mi náà pọ̀ ọmọọba ni mí wà tí mo délé tí mo ké ni màá sọ fún mọ́mí mi má dá wọn lóhùn orí wọn ni ò pé wọn ò mọ̀ pọ̀ ọmọọba ni ìwọ náà ní orí oyè náà bí ẹ sí that was the day I knew I was a princess myself and he no that's the kind of things oyinbos will do to you anytime so that is why you need your own country káwọn ọmọ wa náà ọmọ kan ṣe gbogbo àrà kan bá fẹ́ dá kọ́ máa dá as Nigerians káwọn náà máa wá kọ́ máa wo the wonders of the so-called black land of Yoruba land. So that's one.
Any other question as a round up? Any other question?
Ó yá ó máa sọ Yorùbá kan tó wà nínú ẹ̀ ó lóun máa translate fún wa.
I
àná wo ló máa ṣe fún wa ní. Ó lọ kọ́ òkè ó máa lọ kọ́ lọ́fíìsì.
That's your question.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not from well, one house.
Lórí nǹkan tí a gbọ́ lé ní ó jẹ́ nǹkan tí ó dùnyàn lọ́kàn. So mo rò pé now state tèmi wá how much of àwọn èèyàn tó wà ń ta tó ti believe pé okay this is our father he's taking us to our promised land but all of a sudden a gbọ́n pé nǹkan báyìí ṣẹlẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn state coordinator wa ní Èkó ṣe sọ as a young can coordinator we need to know ta ni àwọn ẹni tí bàbá tẹ̀lé tó jẹ́ bí a group tí wọ́n affect movement for us to be more careful for the future purpose.
Oh yes. Stop.
Because we
Mama
need to be more careful because now nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí ń sìn ó máa dùn ọyàn kan lọ́kàn mò ń wọ comment tó máa make bẹ́ẹ̀ very and àwọn míì ó máa fún ọ̀tá lọ́rọ̀ sọ ni àwọn tó ń sọ pé àyòbó lè lọ ẹnu ò lè kó àdúrà wọn máa sọ pé àkọ́tọ̀ wọn ti ṣe but now let us know what was the cause so that we can use it to educate the people outside. Ìkíni nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀.
Fún mama. Wọ́n tó bá lísìn sí ohun tí màmá kà wà á rí pé wọ́n atemize àwọn groups wọ́n cause problem and ẹ̀mí fẹ́ emphasize pé I want to emphasize many times when I have meeting with mama he's always been complaining about this group and baba obnumbing with them and mama I take it ọlọ́wọ́ bá yanjú ẹ̀ several times in fact I even took over myself pé Njenje get baba I tried several times I didn't get him ẹni tó lọ bá àbá sọ̀rọ̀ ìjọ ẹ̀ gbọ́n gbàtí mo complain fún ẹnìkan tó plus mọ́ àbá tó jẹ́ media person Michael West ó ní kí n kí bàbá náà kéde bí ọ́ ìmílẹ̀ èkó gbàtí mo àfọ̀dé mílẹ̀ ó pe bàbá ó bá wà lọ bí bàbá sọ pé kò àwọn tó ń hàn náà pé kò ṣe nǹkan kan kò sí tó rà pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ is okay ìmílẹ̀ mọ̀ pé danger àti gbogbo àwọn pè lọ́ ń bá àwọn pè gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ṣe in fact some of them nígbà tó wà ní Young Yoruba World Congress àwọn tó dì pẹ̀lú bàbá tó really dì pẹ̀lú bàbá seriously ó wà náà àwọn tá à ń sọ yìí Ọ̀túnba is the one who that saved him nígbà tó gbọ́n kàkiri ẹ̀ wá gbọ́n sọ pé àwọn méje kan wọn ò fi bàbá lẹ̀ nígbà tó dì pẹ̀lú bàbá no I don't think you follow this thing wọn làwọn méje kan wà tó tẹ̀lé bàbá pé bàbá ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká yọ àpọ̀ ẹ̀ fi wọ́n lẹ̀ wọ́n yìí dúró pẹ̀lú bàbá nígbà yẹn now our form Ìlànà after ìwà ìjọba pé Ìlànà make progress these same people tí wọ́n dì pẹ̀lú bàbá ọwọ́ ń bá bàbá ọ̀yá ẹ̀ka ṣe G8 àá máa control ọ̀hún yẹn àti yọ government ní next side I don't know ṣé ọ̀rọ̀ yóò sí ilé tíṣà wọ́n ti yọ government ní next side àwọn wà níbi ìta ìṣiṣẹ́ these are the people tó ń bá bàbá ṣe o mo rò pé ṣe gbọ́ are you following this thing because tell about get the information you will just be baby the way you are baby ṣé à ń lọ síwájú ni àbá ń lọ sẹ́yìn answer yourself answer ṣé à ń lọ síwájú àbá ń lọ sẹ́yìn àwọn tó dì pẹ̀lú bàbá. ẹ̀yin gan yọ̀ǹda where do you register?
Register as what?
I see. Banji register under Ìlànà. Under Ìlànà register. G8 kó ẹwọ́n jọ wọ́n ní àwọn àlàmà jọ lórí Ìlànà.
Is it possible?
Are you hearing anywhere? Pé Ìlànà ẹ̀yà èèyàn bíi méjì kan wá jọ G8. Tó wọn represent Ìlànà under G8.
So you will not be over.
Which is not possible.
What are you saying? Let's go to the So these are issues that Mama has been going through. I might see so many times I'm about to today. When the tower low, she buy a cash buy. Easy with Mama don't meet him. So, that can one thing I will call a meeting once you meet on Zoom. I'm only on call that can but they go to work by the go. We don't Mama decide where. So about decide like the bound law. Igba your carpet. Unfortunately, they try. Only meeting only Baba for announce for chief commander or whatever. So in any about Mama do this. Okay, you about the announce pay or they only pay I Balanoa, Njenje, but he played a smart game. See, there are a lot of details he would do because I think he do. He plays, but he just showed up at that meeting. Because the government meeting, Bobo say small thing there. Yeah, come there. Oh, what do you but they Javale? So, but when it happen, it will happen. The one that bring the comments back. Only to happen the wiki. In fact, normally today, I will not have entertained this kind of meetings because it is important. Baba collector. When they sack our meat is so important globally for Ìlànà. Shola, sir, I'm sure you know Shola Sako.
I've been hearing that name.
Oh, okay, you got. Now you have heard Shola Sako.
Thank you.
Baba sack our meat you want another important person. Akintoye. Don't want any abroad. Don't ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun fún Ìlànà. So what else do you want us to do at that point? Can we continue, Abi?
And younger was inaugurated by Ìlànà.
Okay, so like, do you continue Baba in that all this time? Just do we continue Baba or will it? We should continue. No, okay. So that is the point.
I have a question here, and I think it's important to take it.
Okay.
Who is Shola Salako, and how has she been beneficial to the struggle?
Shola Salako is a Yoruba girl, half Eko, half Egba, I think, who was sent to England at a very early age, which is part of, I think, the problem to me around the Baba. On Shebi Oyinbo, ara complaints Baba ní pé kò ṣe bí ọmọ Yorùbá, kò àgbàlagbà bá sọ̀rọ̀, kò mọ kí ṣe ọmọ Oyinbo ṣe ṣe when they talk to you as if you are. So yeah, basics, but there's nothing we can do about it. Then she was nígbà tí ọ̀rọ̀ join the kidney struggle. She joined as far back as Unicom. Unicom was before 2018. So àdìjọ wá sẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àdìjọ ṣe leaders ni, you know. And so why she is now important to us is that in terms of moving with people, UNPO tagba only we can now fly flat. Everybody so táwọn IPOB náà lọ ṣe tiwọn àti Biafra òun ló ṣe. She will go about doing all these things quietly without them and using her money as well. She will do all the things. It will also shake off our Conifer. Conifer is more the exact thing, but it's like for Africans, football is a football club. Okay. Because ball and it's open only to Yorubas. You saw his hand. Kenya, but what cancel into the COVID. So you saw nǹkan tó ń ṣe yẹn pé káwọn wá tiẹ̀ máa jáde kọ́ máa lọ gbá bọ́ọ̀lù kọ́ máa ti rí wọn as people from Yoruba nation wọ́n máa gbá bọ́ọ̀lù yẹn as Yoruba nation. Èèyàn mélòó inú gbogbo àwọn tí even àwọn office holders wa tó ń gbowó wa lọ ṣe rẹ̀ fún àwọn ọlọ́mọ gan tó ń struggle tó ń join kiri èyí tó ọ̀bá bá tún inú wọn I'm sorry because àwọn olókùn kiri ẹ̀wọ̀n lè jẹ́ kán lọ. Notice gbà kan pé for some time àwọn handicap win a medal because handicap was so the best of the handicap low. But the normal women and men come as one way or the other before. So you cannot get your best with that kind of nonsense. But you see this Conifer, we just allow them to play or abroad not to pick the best àbúrò náà ti máa ṣe wá dẹ̀ lọ play ó ṣe yẹn fún wa gbogbo dẹ̀ gbogbo United Nations affiliate wa àwọn fẹ́ bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ EU gbogbo ẹ̀ ní UK bẹ́ẹ̀ náà òun ló ń ṣe so àwọn láti sọ pé very few people ló ní sùúrù òyìnbó láti máa ṣe nítorí the last few questions wọ́n fẹ́ tún fún ẹ fẹ́ ṣí bank ìgbà tó fẹ́ ṣí bank account in fact wọn ò gbà kó ṣí lórúkọ Ìlànà she had to open it with her details so that òyìnbó á sẹ́ pé àwọn àmì táwọn máa mú tí nǹkan kan bá gbó the same thing nígbà tó máa ṣí website so wà tí bàbá ní kò gbé website lẹ́ẹ̀kọ́ gbé paper mi lẹ́ẹ̀kan tí ò ṣe lè gbé lẹ̀ nìyẹn tó gbogbo ẹ̀ ló fi ṣe so a ní kí ẹni tó the new coordinator kó lọ ṣí tiẹ̀ in his own name to the South Africa because the laws of all these countries are almost the same. Nigeria nìkan ni olófin Nigeria nìkan ni olófin anybody lè ṣe account mẹ́wàá ẹ̀rọ lè ṣe 100 accounts so that is the thing so she is a very very useful girl to then stress anybody anything she decides to do she goes in there she does it uses her money tẹ́ bá fún padà déédéé bẹ́ẹ̀ dẹ̀ fún it's okay so ká wá fi yẹn lẹ̀ ká lose irú ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn òun ló ṣe sẹ́ pé tó bá jẹ́ coordinating the diaspora ni ẹ jẹ́ kẹ́lòmíì máa ṣe lọ kóun fèsì diplomatic ebo kiri tó ń bá wa ṣe yẹn so that's why we didn't want to lose her and we hang up.
ǹjẹ́ bàbá ní ẹni ìsìn tó fi ṣe tó ṣe tó wọ́n sá.
That's the question next I was about to ask. Yeah, someone asked that. Okay, so pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ tí wọ́n rí bàbá ṣe yọ wọ́n.
ó ní wọn ò fẹ́ dáwó ṣọ́lá ò fẹ́ dáwó kò fẹ́ fún àwọn béèrè owó fún kíní but by that time tọrọ Sunday Igboho máa fi ṣẹlẹ̀ tó máa fi dọ̀rọ̀ kó máa dé court accusation yìí ti ń pọ̀ ike bàbá ń gbowó wọn àwọn nǹkan tó ń fowó ṣe wọn ṣe so all the coordinators yẹn ọkọ̀ dálé ṣọlá lórí mi all the coordinators yẹn pátá except maybe ti South Africa àti ti one girl ní Canada Bọ́lá Sàǹdà nìkan náà ṣe fún bàbá lówó all the other náà ò sanwó wọn àfi táwọn bá mọ nǹkan tí.
ohun tó ń lọ.
Meanwhile.
No account details.
No kini on also okay.
No
for
right
example
account.
see bàbá ní nígbà tí wọ́n máa ṣàkáǹtì fèmí that was my initial position was treasurer wọ́n sọ fún mi pé 9.3 million náà kó fún lọ́ọ̀yà ṣe Ìgbòho ní ẹgbẹ́ àwọn tàbùjá béèrè 7 million àwọn ti kó 3 million it is documented tí Ìbàdàn mo rò pé later discover yìí pé ẹ̀gbọ́n àbí brother ìyàwó Sunday so ìyẹn ní kán fi òun sílẹ̀ pẹ̀lú máa yanjú ẹ̀ nígbà tí Sunday máa sọ̀rọ̀ from prison ó ní kò sí èèyàn kankan tó fún un àbí gbogbo ìṣàlẹ̀ kan ó ní kéèyàn kan máa náà help òun nobody helped him òun lòun sọ bills òun fún ara so where did that 9.3 million 7 million 3 million ti kó lọ.
That's almost 20 million.
àwọn lawyers Èkó nìkan ni mo rí confirmation lẹ́nu wọn tí mo torí mo mọ àwọn yẹn táwọn yẹn sọ pé wọ́n ti sanwó fáwọn. Abuja did not say anything. Ti Sunday Igboho did not say anything. So around wàhálà tá à ń rí lórí ọ̀rọ̀ owó yìí yẹn. Wípé àwọn èèyàn owó ìkẹ́dẹ̀rẹ̀ diaspora ló dà. Diaspora ló dà. Àwọn owó tá a kàn fáwọn detainees ní àwọn adá díẹ̀ bí àwọn individuals dá. Even ìyẹn owó diaspora ló pọ̀ jù owó àwọn detainees yẹn. So ṣé mọ̀ when people keep àwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ nìyẹn ṣé àwọn ọmọ ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́ London ìjọ náà bá lọ́ọ́ bí iṣẹ́ máa yọ owó ìjọ yẹn kúrò. So kí àwọn bá kó yẹn lẹ̀ kò máa rí result lórí ẹ̀ it's unfair so ọkàn àwọn àdáyé ṣọlá lórí tí wọ́n sì lè pé gbogbo owó kíní ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀ ló ń lọ kò dẹ̀ sí ọ̀sọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀ wọn bá dẹ̀ láti owó tó wà ń bẹ̀ àti a fẹ́ pín iṣẹ́ yẹn ní ṣọlá èèlò ló kò lákàntì ó ní 3,000 kíní kan ó ní kó gbogbo ẹ̀ round it up mo 3,000 fi ránṣẹ́ sí bàbá wọ́n dẹ̀ kó ránṣẹ́ sí kìnìún oníta ni ó náà wéde pé ta ni kóun kò fún ṣùpọ̀ òjò that is by the Ìlànà lọ́ọ̀yà ìyẹn dẹ̀ gbà ìyẹn dẹ̀ sẹ́yìn kìíní sí mi lóòótọ́ pé òun gbowó yẹn bàbá dẹ̀ ṣe ní òun òrùbó gbà mo ní bàbá ẹ lọ bí lọ́ọ̀yà owó wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ àti bàbá bàbá ti dákẹ́ so it's all a matter of money but àwọn ètò kù yẹn I don't know why Oríṣọlá náà dà ní because gbogbo wọn náà àkírí ìfáwọn òní sanwó a lot of them and it is affecting iṣẹ́ tiwa gbogbo affect iṣẹ́ Ninas tọ́lá àwọn làwọn kan ti gbójúlé kí wọ́n máa fún wa lówó tá a máa fi ṣiṣẹ́ Ninas àrùn ó gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn sí so we have to àwọn gan láti clean ara wa out kọ́ mọ̀ pé ẹni owó táwọn bá kó lẹ̀ àmúnáṣe if you don't we can't blame them àwọn náà lówó wọn.
Me too, I will do the same now. I say ìpín lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ṣà kan.
So nǹkan tó fà á nìyẹn kì í ṣe pé bóyá ẹni ọ̀rọ̀ owó yìí náà ní gbogbo ẹ̀ wípé so as I said we all contribute close to 20 million ẹni tá a contribute ẹ̀ torí ẹ̀ sọ pé òun ò rí nǹkan kan òun ò rí help from anybody nǹkan tọ́mọ yẹn sọ is very weighty èmi kan bínú sí pé ṣé yẹ kó sọ ọdún ẹ̀.
It was very short when we had it.
Yeah, but that was what happened, so that's what I said.
Yeah.
And again, we want to sort of media. Like now, any media don't perform. Lórí struggle ìtàtí development jáde láti ara Nàìjíríà. So at least ó yẹ tí ariwo bírò àwọn media méjì mẹ́ta tá dẹ̀ mọ́ pé wà faithful sí struggle tó ṣe wà nírú bíbá ilé mi. So mo wá mọ reason tí wọ́n fi lè wà. Àti nítorí mo check media kan tó dẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́ tó yẹ pé ó post ẹ̀ lórí platform ẹ̀ tí mo wò lórí Facebook. Bí mo ṣe ń bọ̀ bíbá lórí this press statement from Ìlànà pé ó dákọ̀ adé máa sọ something like that ní pé wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ pé ọ̀wọ́n kan government is sponsor nígbè so ṣiṣẹ́ fún government láti blackmail Professor Banji Akintoye. So now we need to know why those media are not with us today.
Torí pé àwọn ọ̀nà tó bá jẹ́ lóòótọ́ ni government sponsor wa, you probably see everybody here, but our sponsor wa. So what I did was that since it's a Yoruba affair, I decided to pay with the newspaper man tí mo fi ṣe consultant pé let's keep it strictly to the main Yoruba kìíní òun náà ló dé identify wọn fún mi wípé Tribune, Nation, Punch àti Guardian. Ifá mi ò tiẹ̀ fẹ́ fi Nation sí òun ló ní ká fi sí pé ó ń travel pé paper yẹn ń travel d'Abuja wípé sọ àwọn ará Abuja rí whatever happens. I didn't want Nation because of Tinubu. Because why would I be giving Chinua my money? I don't buy the paper. But I don't know my wulo. No problem. Anything for you. No, it's true. I don't come in error. So Aláròyé, I confess, I insist upon Aláròyé for I want to read Yoruba language. It will be able to go down to the masses because everybody will long paper Aláròyé, not then listen to music. Because on shape for here. That's why we only stayed with the four that we could afford. So no one nobody gave us any money. I can't even buy dollars here. Nobody in my company at any lobby. I don't know what money. So we used it.
Offending yeah, so where?
I can't give up my love. They are all Ìlànà. Gbogbo àwọn tó ń bá ìtọ́jú ìkíni Ìlànà ní gbogbo wọn. Ní sanwó fún wọn. So meanwhile, àwọn sọ́pà àti gba dọ́là àti gba gbogbo ẹ̀. Nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣe rí wọn nìyẹn. Ṣé bí o ti mọ láti ṣe kí ní ìsìn tí ẹ̀ kọ̀ jáde. Ìfà statement lásán ni mo fẹ́ kọ ká gbé sórí WhatsApp. Làwọn èèyàn ní rárá o wípé we must do like a press conference so that the news will go far. Kán lè kí everybody lè mọ̀ pé time tó lọ pé nǹkan ti change, that things have changed. We are trying to clean up our structures, clean up our system, get rid of all these bad kilita and press and get. So kò sí nǹkan ní.
So ojú kan máa sọ pé ẹ̀yin náà lè máa polongo ẹ̀ ẹ̀yin ní tẹ̀wọ̀n bíi náà ni wherever platform you know it be useful throw it there and everybody will see it who doesn't know who.
Irú Punch yóò wà bí ṣe Punch may be a friend to Baba. Ṣé kó bọ́ síbi tó rà pé ṣe àrí and he is Punch. Ṣèbẹ̀ láti bọ́ ṣe wá tẹ́.
Wọ́n kì í káàkiri gbogbo
àwọn ìjókòó.
So ẹ̀yin tẹ media ní gbogbo ẹ mọ bẹ tẹ́lẹ̀ tú ẹ láwọn ọ̀rẹ́ lọdà media house ẹ tú ẹ sí wọn.
Nǹkan tí news consultant yẹn sọ ni only those are the four major newspapers ti fún mi wípé anything tẹ bá gbé other newspapers will be forced to carry it. So that was why and we needed to keep down costs. Like I said, I manage ara wa ni. Bóyá tá bá clean up image wa tán àwọn ọmọ wa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní dáwó fún wa.
Àbẹ̀yọ ilẹ̀ nù ẹ̀yin wá bá nìyí ẹ̀yin lọ̀gá ẹ̀yin lẹ́ni iṣẹ́ yìí àbẹ̀yọ ilẹ̀ nù ni. Dábàá kókó wá sí èlò lórí fúlò fún wa báyìí.
A tún fẹ́ mọ question ní pé ti Sunday Igboho tó wà ní Benin kí ni plan yín fún next boy ma kúrò níbẹ̀ àbí.
Sunday is number one ṣẹlẹ òun fúnra rẹ̀ ìgbọràn ọlágídí nígbà tá à ń ṣe ṣẹlẹ constitutional force majeure wa it's like an umbrella tó ń bo gbogbo wa tó ń fún wa ní legal not backing,
Authority.
Legal guidance and protection. The word any is giving us legal.
You are bringing close
It's giving us legal protection. Because technically for legal protection, àwọn Malawi wọ́n ti gbé wa láti December last year. That declare kiri December last year láti ṣe. So all they were doing was all sáré kiri trying to try láti pàdé one day àṣẹ báyìí kan maneuver around. Bọ́dẹ̀ ṣe maneuver là ń sọ fún ẹ pé kò sọ̀nà mi. Wọ́n lọ sí National Assembly káwọn yẹn change constitution àwọn yẹn ní àwọn ò ní constituency powers láti kọ constitution law making iṣẹ́ àwọn. So that is someone will be sure it's not your job, it's not your business. So everything Kati she they've been trying. So every Sunday, we rally stand she. And one more what she rally, Ìlànà what she rally to your 4. Sunday will come around 4:35. I said which is okay. He did a good job for us. He allowed sensitize and over sensitize our masses. But at the same time, he should have stayed within the law. Ìṣọ̀kan ní ẹgbẹ́ tí ó lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Yorùbá tí ìṣọ̀kan ọmọ Yorùbá and they suffer, especially the last one. When don't use ìṣọ̀kan t-shirt. Àti ní pé wàhálà ti fẹ́ dé torí for about 2 weeks before that time wọ́n ti ń sọ ní Fani Káyọ̀dé ti ń sọ pé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe rally Sunday, don't do the rally, don't do kìnnì kan àwọn òtí ẹ̀wọ̀n kówó ti change hands. So ọmọ ìṣáà sọ mo ní kìnnì ìfẹ́ pọ̀ wàhálà ìfẹ́ pọ̀ Òdùmọ̀ṣù kẹ̀dẹ̀ lè mi ò rírú yẹn commissioner of police Èkó. Òjò Ìjẹ̀bú tó ń jó fẹ́ máa tí wọ́n ní Ìjẹ̀bú òjò òjò tí ẹ fẹ́ máa jó òjò torí gbogbo state tó kù láti lọ ṣe rally kò sọ ọlọ́pàá tó yọ wá ní lẹ́nu ọ̀dọ̀ tí. So mo dé a sọ fún wa ní don't wear ìṣọ̀kan that day o ní owó sáré lọ ṣe t-shirt yìí fún àwọn ọmọ yẹn either use Ninas or use Ìlànà kò dáhùn. Ìkànnì wa gan sọ pé ká fi sílẹ̀ ìṣọ̀kan ẹ̀ ló ti ń lò látijọ́ yìí ìṣọ̀kan ẹ̀ tó ti ń lò láti jẹ òun ló fa wàhálà ẹ̀ òun lè rí ẹ̀ lédélẹ̀ ṣe lẹ́wọ̀n mọ iye ta ná apart from nípa sanwó lọ́ọ̀yà nípa àwọn detainees ẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ mọ iye millions tó wọlé sí getting them out of náà tí ń ṣe ìjà ẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ mọ iye ta ná tó wọlé sí ibẹ̀ yẹn tá a lè béèrè àsọ fún bàbá àsọ nǹkan kan gbọ́ àwọn ń sáré kiri ọ̀nà àwọn wípé kí ló ṣe máa bá a gbọ́ pé ó kó 49 àwọn ọmọ wa dẹ̀ fi wọ́n sílẹ̀ bí àwọn wọn ó dé stage kan àárín ìgbà táwọn ọmọ ẹ wà níbẹ̀ làwọn governors wá ṣe meeting ní ọ̀dọ̀ Sanwó-Olú mo sọ fún wọn gbà mo ní ẹ kóra yín jọ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ṣe wá ń ta ẹ lọ bá àwọn governors ẹ kẹjọba lẹ́sẹ̀ ní ọ̀nà government house kẹjọba bí Sanwó-Olú ò bá ṣàánú ní governor kan ní àwọn governors yẹn wọn á ní akíní problem ẹ pàdé òde tẹ káwọn ọmọ yìí máa lọ kí wọ́n ṣe àwọn èèyàn kan náà tún sọ fún ẹ pé kò ní ìdí èyí ṣe àwọn ọba iṣẹ́ governor oníṣẹ́ governor ní wọ́n ṣáà ìdí pé káwọn kan máa ṣe kán gbà báyìí káwọn kan gbà báyìí àwọn ọmọ yẹn ò lọ tó àwa la ṣe so Sunday at the end of the day ṣe lò ká tó ṣe rally wọ́n ti lọ sílé ẹ̀ wọ́n bà gbogbo mọ́tò jẹ́ wọ́n ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n sá lọ ìgbà tó débẹ̀ ni wọ́n tún mú un bẹ̀ gbogbo bá ṣe mú yẹn náà oríṣiríṣi story là ń bọ̀ nípa àwọn èèyàn kan lọ kó bá àwọn èèyàn kan lọ ṣe but at the end of the day the bottom line ṣe tóun fúnra rẹ̀ ṣe fún rẹ̀ ló ń jóun torí ká ló gbọ́ràn ní kò ní á sí gbogbo olú problem yẹn àtúwá ń sáré kiri nìyẹn mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé bàbá náà bá sáré àwọn kan wo kan ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀kọ́ ní kò sẹ́ni tó ràn án lọ́wọ́ so kí la fẹ́ ṣe borotai ìyẹn ti gbé pléènì débẹ̀ helicopter yìí pé ó rò wọ́n máa jọ wọ́n máa gbé lẹ̀ fún nǹkan ó máa gbé wọ̀ Nàìjíríà wọ́n tó ti gbàgbé pé ọjọ́ kan lọ́lọ́run bí ọjọ́ kan ń bọ̀ lọ́lọ́run bí nígbà tí president Togo bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wá sí Nàìjíríà Kapinan tó wá bẹ Buhari pé kó jọ kó ṣí bọ́dà wípé bí ń pa àwọn èèyàn wípé àwa ní largest trading partner wọn gbogbo nǹkan tó ń kó on a daily basis tó ń kó padà on a daily basis kí ni yìí àwọn ọmọ yóò ló ń jẹjẹ wọn ní kí ni wọn dáhùn so ẹni tẹ ṣe ìlú tẹ ṣe ẹ fún for almost 2 years lè wá rò pé even kí Sunday gan jẹ criminal they will not release him to you wọn làwọn àtúráyè níbẹ̀ so it's like a face off between the two governments wọn ò rí nǹkan kan tí Sunday ṣe kò gbé fake passport wà lọ passport méjèèjì tó wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ there is legally entitled to it is Nigerian passport and his German passport kò dẹ̀ ra ticket in any false name and he was travelling so normal so kò sí nǹkan kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí i tí global directorate ṣe ní ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n lójó àwọn yẹn ti fẹ́ release ẹ̀ wọ́n ti fẹ́ release ẹ̀ igbó kó rọra máa lọ kó fa etí ẹ̀ kó máa lọ lọ́nà ń kọ lẹ́tà náà dúpẹ́ tó ti rà ní plane àwọn dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ everybody tó ṣe ìbọ́ṣe anybody náà so ara nonsense tó rí that's what I cannot stand those nínú gbogbo gúrúùpù yẹn ṣẹ́ni global director mi ṣe in fact no ẹni sùúrù so bóyá ọ̀rọ̀ Sunday ṣe rí nìyẹn so ṣẹ́ni kì í ṣe pé ẹ̀dùn omi kò sí nǹkan kan anybody lè ṣe for him now because it's a face off between our government and the Republic government. But nothing, but they will not bring him back to Nigeria. So bá máa kúrò níbẹ̀ yẹn Germany ẹ̀ ló kó lọ sí mi. So wọ́n máa ní sùúrù ṣe mọ̀ òun náà fi story lòun náà ìtàn ní gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ló máa jẹ́ fóun náà lẹ́yìn ọ̀la. Ibi nǹkan báyìí lòun náà experience láti wọ́n ń jà tó Yorùbá nation. Ìwọ́n kò ní ṣe nothing will happen because he didn't do anything. Àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ yẹn wọ́n burú but they are straightforward.
Oh, okay, one told you that. Well, we need to round up now. So, the only advice I want to give all of us is let's go out. Encourage our people. I know a lot of people discourage because I've received phone calls before I got here. Phone calls, which is okay, there's no problem. We are moving forward. And okay, everything will be okay. So, we don't want to be ten about that. There was someone going to this to okay, continue there. He told it, yeah. Okay, continue by you. Can you freedom?
Let me even explain further. Self-determination face we just Yoruba alone without any Nancy. And it will give them an excuse to invade us. Yoruba land. So that's how we have to play it cool. We must not be seen doing anything outside Ninas. Ninas is
going to free wa.
But now see Baba Achebe àwọn sí ní Ìlànà. Wọ́n sọ ní Ninas.
Actually Ninas, I don't know Ninas.
Oh, Ninas.
Okay. Because for instance, the chairman or something of Ninas, why to the Nadi the Secretary General.
Yeah.
Wọ́n sọ Ninas.
Yes. The issue is how to manage him in Ninas.
I need that to manage one Ninas.
If we need to manage one company.
Ìlànà igonsi náà is management. Bí a ṣe sọ pé kò ṣe a first step aside. Kì í ṣe pé kó dọ̀là ń sìn kó lóun fẹ́ rí wa. Kàníta ló ń bá wí.
So it's management.
But he knows
but we need
that
to make this point.
We have to restructure Ìlànà. Okay. We are far away from all these people.
From these politicians and government.
So until now, but she politics. So our politicians don't have to
Let's have a closing remark from you, sir.
That's true. I'm not saying anything.
Anyway, thank God for everything. So there's no problem with Ìlànà. So we just want to disrupt the structure, the way we have been moving. And stepping aside from Baba is never a crime, and it's never a fight between we and Baba. So like Mama said, Baba is there. So if you call us today, we are ready to meet him and discuss with him. So we don't have any grudges with him. Only that, as he is, always wanted to be entertaining politicians. So we don't want to have anything doing with politics. And we stood by Yoruba nation now. So that does it.
Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ ti gbọ́ yẹn gbogbo àwọn tí ó dúró tì wá ní àtàárọ̀ gbogbo